Hey man, what's good, bro? Hey man, I just wanted to holler at you because I did subscribe to your channel, and today I had a chance to listen to all three interviews, and I want to say a few things. One, bro, you are doing phenomenal things, my dude. Like, super proud of you. Love the content. Just love you just seeking out information and just trying to gather and collect as much information as possible in order to just support the masses. And I think what you're doing is incredible. Just wanted to say that I was proud of you, man, and keep doing what you're doing, bro. No need to call me back. I just wanted to express that for you, my man. And keep it up, and I'll keep subscribing. All right, bro. All right, go on.
Welcome, everybody, to Processing the Process, episode 12, with myself, Melvin Johnson, of course. As you can see, today's episode is going to be a little bit different than what you're accustomed to seeing or viewing and hearing. What you just heard actually was a voicemail from a very good friend of mine. His name is JT. We went to college together, Hampton University. And it was as you can hear, it was a great message, very uplifting. And that's just the kind of people that I have around me. That's the kind of team that I have around me. That's the kind of environment that I surround myself by. So the fact that, thank you, JT, by the way, but the fact that he was able to go outside of his day, leave that voicemail, leave some words of encouragement was very endearing, and I appreciate that so much. So I appreciate that. But I wanted to introduce the show with that to let you guys know kind of what the theme is today. And for this episode, the theme is going to be, I just want to give you guys some insight as to the way that I think, why I think this way, as well as just give you some answers to some questions that I've been getting. So thank you for everyone that has left comments, voicemails, text messages, DMs, you name it. However you were able to get to me to leave a comment, a suggestion, I appreciate it. But I want to give that to the masses. So this episode here is, I have a bunch of questions that I was able to curate from, like I said, again, voicemails that I receive, conversations I've had, as well as DMs, email. People have emailed me and left things. So this is it's going to be pretty interesting. Some things are great, some things are not so great. But for me, all of it is great. It may not sound like it's great, but I appreciate all of it 100%. So kind of let's just jump right into it, and I'm going to just go through it, answer them, let you guys know, and answer any questions for the masses to be able to consume. So I'm going to start with this one. Actually, I probably should have put who sent it so you guys know who sent it, but that doesn't matter. I think you guys kind of get the idea of what's going on. So this one says, I love the interviews, bro. I would like to make a suggestion if I could. Respectively, I think you should do a solo recap of interview gems, maybe every 3 or 4 of them, which would give you and the show a higher platform. So thank you again for the comment. Thank you for that suggestion and that question. I agree with you. I mean, I'm not sure if I would do it every 3 or 4. I would like to kind of chop up some of the gems, as you say, and the jewels, and that really good piece of information that individual has blessed us with, and give that to you in segments so you can watch, whether it be a 5-minute or a 10-minute of just information from all of those interviews. Because, man, I mean, doing this show, there, like you said, there's a lot of gems and information that if you really listen and understand and comprehend, it can really take you a long way. So thank you for that. But yeah, that's something I might consider. I want to get better at delivering those gems, if you will, and deliver that to you guys so you guys can just go to one source and be able to hear all of that. So I appreciate that. Let's go to the next ones. Who is helping you film? So everything is by myself, 100%. So no one is helping me film. I set up the entire room. In the beginning, I believe episode probably 1 through 9, I believe, I used 2 cameras. I had a camera that was facing the guest, a camera that was facing myself. And that interview was basically the way that I was able to keep your attention when we're doing videos. You're just bouncing back and forth. But now on episode, let's call it 10, 11, 12, well, not 12 because this is 12, but 10 and 11, I had a third camera, and the third camera was able to get both of us in the shot. So, and, you know, it's just me help. It's no one else. It's just me. Next question. Bruh, the logo is horrible. You should get a new logo and stay away from that blue. That blue looks like 1996 clip art. Agreed. Agreed. The clip art color, I agree. So one of my favorite colors is blue. So that's why I use that blue. Thank you for the comment, by the way. The logo can absolutely be improved. The logo could be updated, and I am in the process of doing that and hopefully branding myself, if you will. Is it horrible? Yes, maybe no. Some people may say yes, some people may say no, but I appreciate this because it lets me know that people are consuming, people are watching, and it gives me a little bit of feedback. And as I look back at it, I can say, yes, it can be a little bit more sophisticated for a business audience that I am trying to approach and I guess you can say entertain and bring value to. So, not all comments that I get that I would adhere to or agree with, but I accept and appreciate. I hear it all. I may not use it all, but I hear it all. But I really appreciate that because like as I look at it, I'm like, okay, is it the blue? Can it be updated? 100%. Can the logo be updated? 100%. Does it hurt my feelings to hear this? Absolutely not. It actually gets me really excited because I'm looking forward to not the negative, but the bad or the suggestions that can make me better. And I think this is one of them that can make me better. So thank you for that comment as well. Next question. Why can't I go on regular YouTube and search for you? I have to go or keep referring to the link. Great comment. I appreciate that so much. So agreed. From my understanding, and I have to do more research, I believe once I get to 100 subscribers, I can then have my channel, call it youtube.com/processing the process or whatever it wants to be. But in order to do that, I have to reach 100 subscribers. So right now, I believe because of the content I've been putting out and been pretty consistent, if you were to go to YouTube and the search bar type processing the process, one or two or maybe all the videos will start to pop up, which is great. And hopefully that clip, that thumbnail, you can click and recognize that it's me and find it that way. Hopefully it's going to get better. But I believe once I get to 100 subscribers, which is another threshold that I'm working for me, I'm looking at it as far as 100. And then I want to go to 1,000, 10,000, 100,000, and then 1,000,000. So those are the benchmarks that I'm looking at. Now, I'm not looking at it every day. I'm not looking at my views because everything is going to get better. It's a process. And I have to understand that this is a process. And being that I understand that, I'm not looking for the quick hit. I'm not looking for the viral moment. I'm looking to be consistent. Like a lot of the guests that's been on the show is just being consistent. And I'm just trying to stay true to that and be consistent. But to answer your question, I believe once I have the subscribers up to at least 100, it may be a little bit easier for you to find me in that YouTube search. So I'm working on that. So please tell a friend and get those subscribers up, and it should be a little bit easier for you. But right now, like you're saying, go to my link on all of my social at ProcessTheMel, and you should be able to pop up the link and watch videos. Next question. How can we work together? Can I be a sponsor or maybe drop off some product? Let me know, bro. I would like to work with you. Man, I appreciate this so much. So it's great that people are starting to see and want to work with me and potentially be a sponsor. I will say that as of right now, I'm not looking to monetize my audience. I'm not looking to make money. I'm not looking to have ads pop up all around the video. But if it is a product that you have or something that I like, one, I would love to have you on the show. And two, maybe I'll just wear your t-shirt or maybe I have your product on a desk somewhere. There's no need for me to have a monetary or some kind of transaction of money for you to be on the show or a transaction for money for me to say something about your product. If I believe in your product, I would be more than happy to display that and talk about that. So I'm not looking to monetize at this moment. I can't say what's going to happen in the next 5 or 10 years, but at this moment, I don't want to monetize. I just want to bring as much value to the audience as possible. And I believe that in order to bring as much value, I can't try to, pull one over on you guys. Like, I'm trying to get my followers up so then I can get sponsorships. That's really not the goal. My goal is to build a brand, but more importantly, bring as much value as possible so that when you're watching these interviews and going through the show, that you're like, wow, I got something out of that. So that is my sole goal. But thank you for the comment, and thank you for wanting to be a part and help and work with me. I'm so excited for that. Next one. You look good in solid colors. You should stick to them. So I would agree with you as well. I am not in the film industry. I can't say that I know everything that goes into what makes the great shot or a great image when it comes to filming. But I would agree and say probably solid colors probably looks best rather than like right now I'm wearing stripes. However, I do not judge myself, and these videos that I do have primarily been in the evenings and or on the weekends, which for me simply means that I'm out working, meeting clients, and for me to always think about what I'm wearing for the show, it's just not going to happen. Now, I may be mindful, but honestly, I got to tell you, I probably won't. Whatever I have on is what I'm going to wear, whether it's a Raiders hoodie or a dress shirt or a t-shirt, whatever it is, I'm going to be comfortable and I want to be real. I'm not going out of my way to make the shot look the best. I want the content to speak for itself, but I will keep in mind about just solid colors, and hopefully I'll stick to more solid colors. But thank you. Next question. Why is the show called Processing the Process? Excellent question. So the show is called Processing the Process because right now one of my favorite words to use is process, because process has so many different meanings. But I think when you hear it, you just like, okay, things are happening. Someone is sticking to something and there is an order in which things are happening. So that's why I love that word. Now, it originally started with my Instagram. My Instagram name is ProcessTheMel, MEL, which is a play on words as far as like a mail that goes in the mailbox. So that's where that name came from. And when I wanted to create a show for podcasts and YouTube, I was like, okay, what can I do consistently? What can I do that I think most people are going to get the most value out of? And for me, I tell people a lot, there was a couple of years ago when Oprah had her final season, and it was either before the show or after the show. It showed like her it was like an hour, like a documentary. It was like behind the scenes, what she did on a day-to-day basis. And it was always intriguing for me to see that she made her own lunch and things that she did in the office and just everything that went into making that show and how much her finger was on that show really left an impact on me. But more importantly, I like the context of stuff, whether it's a documentary, to learn the backstory about things. So Processing the Process was basically me saying, using a play on words, but also uncovering and learning from individuals about what are they doing to be successful? Because I want to be successful. I want others to view me as successful. And I just don't want that just to be, something to be said. I want it to actually mean something. And I just wanted to share stories with people that are successful and what they did to get there, because I think everyone's path is different. However, there are some common denominators. So that's kind of why the name of the show is Processing the Process. I wanted to break down what they did in their process. So that's where that came from. Next question. Can you make the show 20 minutes? I feel like an hour is too long. Thank you for the question. Thank you so much. So I agree and disagree. Now, reason I say I agree is it can probably be closer to 20, 30, maybe 40 on the high end, which is where it is now. But the reason that the first, let's call it 3 episodes, you may have seen 45 to maybe an hour and 15, is because it was such a great story. I didn't know where to stop it or where to end it or the best way to narrate and navigate the guest in questioning to get it in that short amount of time. And I do understand that people are quick and they don't have time to dedicate 45 minutes. So when I got this question, it made sense to me right away. And if you notice, the show really is on the 35 to 40 minute mark. I may be able to get it down, but I feel comfortable for me for where it is, simply because I feel like that's enough time for the individual to get their story across, their backstory, where they are now, what they do, as well as talk about that process. Is what I really want to get out of it, is what they're doing. So I don't want to condense that necessarily. Now, I am conscious enough to know that I haven't earned you guys' hour and a half, like Joe Rogan does a 2-hour, 2.5, 3-hour podcast. I haven't earned the right to really take away an hour or hour and a half out of your day. I understand that. I would like to hopefully at some point get it to that between 30 to 40 minute mark to where you guys are consistently watching and you think all the information that you're hearing is great and the show is progressing. I'm getting better and the show is getting better. That's my goal and what I'm looking to do. But I think, as time go on and let's call it 2 years from now, once I have a strong base, maybe I can then go to an hour and you guys would still watch and listen and understand. But this question came in kind of in the early days and I took heed to it. I didn't think 20 minutes was going to address and get the point across that I wanted to for me out of this show, but I 100% agree and think that 30 to 40 is a little bit better, and so far it's been pretty good. But thank you for the comment and the question. Hey, I want to submit some people for your show. Any type of professionals in particular? Wow. So again, thank you for watching and thank you for thinking about me and wanting to help out with guests that I'm interviewing and having a conversation with. So yes, anyone can always submit candidates that you feel would be a great candidate for the show. I will say that for the show, I want professionals of all walks of life. If you're successful in whatever it is that you're doing, if you're the best YouTuber, if you're the best Instagram influencer, if you are the best salesperson at a car dealership, if you're a CEO, CFO of a company, I want to interview you because I feel like you definitely have a conversation that individuals will want to hear and take away bits and pieces of how you got to where you are. And that's what I really want. So as far as submitting people, please, I am always looking for great individuals to speak with. And if you're watching and you're engaged and you feel like you know someone that has an amazing story, I would love to share that. And I would be honored to have them on the show. But as far as professionals, it would just be anyone that one we know is successful. We can identify, say that person is successful. If other people can look at them and say, wow, I think that person is successful. They have, especially a lot of times it comes from the material things that we see and you may feel like they're successful. I want that person on the show. But really it's all walks of life. I really want to make it a business oriented, but it's all walks of life because in order to get, let's call someone that has 1 million, 2 million followers on Instagram or whatever platform, it took time to get there. And they have a story on what they did. They just didn't open their account and magically got a viral moment and have 1 million followers. Now, some stories will include that to where it's just a viral moment and voila, they're this sensation overnight. But for the most part, people are putting in work to their craft. And I think individuals like Instagram influencers or any social media influencers, they are putting in work. And we need to highlight those stories. Because we may see that one perfect shot and that one perfect angle, but I want to talk about what about the 100 shots that it took you to get to that photo? Like that's what I want to talk. That's what I'm most interested in. Like there's always a process behind any and everything. But thank you for your question. Next question. Are you looking for more guests? Can I send some people your way? Perfect. So that goes into the same thing that was just said here. Yes, please send them my way. You can always call, email, text, DM. Please go on my comments, whether it is on YouTube or Facebook or Instagram. However you can get a hold of me, please. I appreciate all of it. So that kind of goes into the same one. Next question. I like this one. What equipment do you use? That is a fantastic question. So anyone that is serious about starting a podcast or a video or anything of this nature, I believe once you do some research, the one thing that everyone always say is use what you have. Don't go out and buy all this expensive equipment because it doesn't make any sense, which is absolutely the correct information to give someone. Now, the equipment that I use, I'm using, like right now, this video is being shot on my current iPhone. So for the 3 cameras that you see on like the past couple of episodes, it's been my current iPhone. It's been my iPhone before that, so the old one that's in a drawer but is now a part of the studio, and my wife's old iPhone, which is a part of the studio. So those are the 3 cameras, are all 3 iPhones that I'm using to produce this show. Now, the mics, I was able to get the mics. I'll plug all this also in the description below and for everyone to know if they're wanting to know about the equipment. The mics I got on, everything was on Amazon. Amazon, the filter, this stand was on Amazon. The tripods that I use for my phone is on Amazon. The holder that's on top of the tripod is on Amazon. And the one investment that I did make, and let me bring it in here really quickly. I'm going to show it to you right here. Hope you can see this. So this is what's called a Zoom H6. Now what the Zoom H6 does is I'm able to, so this microphone, this audio, I'm not using the audio when you see this or hear this. I'm not using the audio from the camera. I'm using the audio directly from here. It's a better quality of audio. The audio 100% could be a lot better than what it is. And that comes from post editing and cleaning that up a lot more, which hopefully I'm getting a little bit better at, but hopefully it can get better over time. But that is probably the most expensive piece of equipment, is having a really good audio, because I knew this was going to live on podcasts and I wanted, or on the podcast platform. So I wanted that to be crisp, clear, you can understand. And also I can be able to pick up the audio from individuals that I'm having a conversation with. So that's the equipment that I use. I pretty much use what I have. I did spend a little bit extra on the Zoom H6. However, I have in the past won some contests of things of that nature. So I use a lot of gift cards. So fortunately for me, I didn't have to pay full price for all of the equipment, but that's what I use. Next question. How did you learn how to edit and post produce? That's another, I mean, all these questions are great, but this is a great question because, like anyone nowadays, if you want to learn something, there's two places you go to. And for me, you can probably say one, but it's really two. It's Google. So if you don't know something, you can always Google it and find the answer. The second part of that, which is almost the same, is a YouTube. The same way I search things in Google, I search the same keywords and how I want to search for it in YouTube. So everything that I've learned as far as editing and jumping from clip to clip and post editing and adding text and all the other stuff that you may like or dislike, I have learned through YouTube. And that includes anything that you may have seen on Instagram as far as the text or the little scroll time thing that was at the bottom. That's all through YouTube. And I can't speak highly enough. I mean, I saw a comedian once say that you can probably learn how to deliver a baby on YouTube, which I believe is 100% true. If you do enough research and you spend the time, and before I started recording and getting everything set up, I probably spent at least 20 to 30 hours on YouTube researching equipment, researching everything about how to post edit and get it to where it is. And I will say, and I will do a plug because I believe in passing as much information off as possible. The one channel that I subscribe to that I go to the most is Primal Video, Justin Brown. They put out fantastic information if you're looking to do anything with your phone, with social media, if you have questions about how to post produce when it comes to music or intros, whatever you need to know about video, that channel pretty much has it for you. They've been up and running for a few years now. Again, it's called Primal Video. A lot of the information that I've learned has come from that channel in Justin. And if for whatever reason he's able to see this video at some point, I appreciate you because you have gotten me to this point to be able to at least produce at this level. And it's 100% dedicated and on the shoulders of Primal Video, and as well as some other videos as well. But if that was my go-to, and if it was only one channel I can go to for learning about video, it would be his, hands down. So please go check him out and tell him I sent you. Maybe he'll check this video out. Next question. How did you come up with the idea of the podcast? Another great question. So, man, this one it's not complex question, but there's a lot of different layers to answering this question. How I came up with the idea was simply, the short answer is probably Gary Vee. Gary Vee, if you consume his content, he always say, content. The best way to do that is have a podcast, because you can take that content and put it across all platforms and build your brand and your audience that way. So in hearing that, I was like, okay, I probably have to start a podcast. And I thought, going back to one of the other questions, I wanted to bring as much value to all the viewers and listeners. So in order for me to do that, I had to do something that I knew that I can do day in and day out, and it was going to be fun to me and have a conversation, but also something that I felt like everyone would get some value out of. So that's how I basically came up with the idea of the podcast. And the podcast, again, was just for me to have content that I can distribute amongst all platforms. And 100% I agree. So if you're thinking about should you do one, the answer is yes. And if you can, film it. Use your iPhone, whatever you can. I just didn't want to film, I'm always here, I'm at the gym, or this is me out with my wife, or this is what I'm eating. I wanted the content that I was going to put on social media across, again, all platforms was to be something that was informative and to bring people value. And the best way that I knew how was, one, I wanted to learn from people that are successful and continue my growth. So what better than to have conversation with successful people? But two, be able to distribute that and build my brand. I hope everyone can start to learn more from the individuals that are on the show, because it's a lot of good information that these people are blessing me with, and I feel honored to be able to share that information with everyone that's viewing and listening. So next question, how can I help? Wow, thank you. So if you mean like how can you help me or help the show, I say the best way you can help is, one, viewing. One, I love for you just to view, and more importantly than you just viewing, if you comment. So if you're on YouTube watching this, if you can just go to the comments and leave a comment on which part of that conversation you felt was best, what part you felt resonated with you the most. If you see a post on any of my social platforms, any comment is a good comment. I promise you, there is no bad comment. I'm looking for the bad comments because I know that the bad comments is going to make me better and or some other things, but I can tell you right now that those bad comments will not hurt my feelings, and I won't stop doing something. Like the one about the shirt and wearing solid, I know who that came from. That one came from my mom. So hi, Mom, because I know she's watching. I love you. And even though she gave me that comment, I'm not going to go out of my way to wear solid shirts all the time, or sweaters, or if I'm wearing a checkered shirt that day, I'm going to wear a checkered shirt and do the video and try to make it as impactful and give as much value as possible. So please know that you cannot hurt my feelings with any comment. But if you have to text, if you have to email, however you need to get in contact with me, that'll be the best way. And if you want to share it, please share it. If you find something really was good for you, just tell a friend about it, let them see it and tell them why you like it. That honestly is the best way that you can help. So thank you for that. Next question. Hold on, these are stuck together. See. What editing software are you using to put together the videos? Great question. That kind of goes back with equipment. So what's funny is, and I just shouted out Justin at Primal Video, they did a video on the best editing software. So it was like a group of 3 or 4 different softwares, and they did different sections like, hey, this is the free, this is the paid, this is what I like about this is what I don't like about that one. And for me, the one that works the best is DaVinci Resolve 16. It's very powerful. It's a lot of information, but I wanted that because it was going to position me to get better at editing, and I was able to have all the tools available to do any post editing. Like honestly, and it's a free software. So DaVinci Resolve is so sophisticated that I feel like you can honestly produce a movie that is ready for the theaters. And that's their paid. I mean, that's their free one. Like the paid one, I don't even know what you get with that one, but it has to be something ridiculously fast and amazing and a bunch of stuff that I don't even know how to use yet, because the free one that I get, there's so many different things that I don't even know how to do or how to use it. I think that I'm probably better than the average Joe coming off the street looking to do something. But if you're looking to start somewhere, I would say for me, DaVinci Resolve works really well. But I also had the opportunity to have a computer that can help with that. But if you don't have a computer with a lot of power and a lot of memory and is able to process the high quality videos that some of these iPhones push out now, there's other ones that use the cloud. So as long as you have internet, you're able to use the cloud as your storage, which will help with that. But again, Primal Video, if you go and search, he did a video a few months, call it 6 months ago, probably, maybe a little bit longer, but of all the editing software out there to edit videos, which was crucial for me. And that is why I use DaVinci Resolve. So I love it. Next question. Okay, we got two more. So these are the last two. All right. So, man, I was finally able to sit down and watch the interview. Man, this was great, my guy. Thank you again. So, I know where this one came from. So, this one came from Manuel of Ty Cow K9, who was episode 2 or 3. I can't remember which one he was, but he was a dog trainer. A lot of energy. That was a great episode. If you have not seen that one, please go back and watch Manny, because he had a phenomenal story talking about working for 2 years without pay, but he just had a passion for what he did, and it didn't matter. But now he's a megastar, in my opinion, and a lot of others' opinion. He's training some of the most ridiculous professional athletes in the NBA, NFL, movie stars, what have you. He's doing phenomenal things, but he was in his process. So this came from him. He was just saying that at the time, he was able to watch the full interview, and he was just thanking me again for having him on. But, again, I thank everyone for being on, because they're sharing their stories with me and with everyone out there. And it's an honor to be able to share that with everyone. He didn't have to come on and tell his story. He didn't have to come on, or anyone have to come on and be as truthful as they were. And I appreciate that so much. So thank you for that comment, and I appreciate it again. So this is the last one. Actually, this is a great one to end on. So this says, you always ask your guests at the end who was one person they would like to meet in business and selfishly on a personal level. Who would you like to meet? Wow. So obviously I haven't been asked that question. That's a question that I always ask the guests at the end of the show, because obviously I think that all this content that I'm pushing out is going to live online forever, and you never know who's going to see it. So for me, when it comes to business, because what I do for a living is I am a commercial insurance broker, which basically means that if anyone has a business, I'm the one that they turn to find coverage and insurance. So I go to all the major carriers out there to look at property, GL, workers' comp, EPLI, cyber, professional liability, auto, you name it. If you have a company and obviously you want to protect that in the event of a fire or theft or anything, I'm the one that helps. I'm the agent that goes and get that insurance for you. So I would say that business-wise, who I want to meet, anyone that is spending over $100,000 annually on that coverage. So that means between their vehicles, their property, their general liability, their workers' comp with all their employees, if they're spending total a year over $100,000 plus in insurance, that's who I want to meet. So for me, selfishly, that's who I want to meet. So if that's you out there watching this, or you know someone, that's who I want to meet. And on a personal level, who I want to meet, honestly, I already mentioned both of them. And it kind of goes to business, but not really, because I wouldn't want anything to do with their business per se. But I would really like to meet Oprah. I think she's a phenomenal interviewer. I think that she has a lot to offer if you were able to sit down and have a conversation with her. She, in my opinion, is a legend, and I would love the opportunity to sit down and just have a conversation with her. Not an interview or anything or people around, but if I was able to have 20 or 30 minutes just to get inside her brain and just have a chat, that'd be great. And for me, the second person would be Gary Vee. Gary Vee, because he has gotten me to this space. A lot of what he has talked about, I have digested and applied that in my own way, and I hope that I'm going to get better. I think that if I continue and go even harder on things that he pushes out and says, that meeting would happen naturally, because him or his team will see that and reach out to me, and that meeting would just be very organic without anyone necessarily pushing that. But that's not to say that if you know him or you want to just, hey, Melvin shouted you out, you should probably meet with him. I would love nothing more for that to happen. But I think just organically it's going to happen. But those are the two people that personally I just really want to meet as a fan, because I feel like both of those individuals it sounds crazy, but have done a lot for me in my life, people that I have not met and possibly will never meet. But what's interesting is I think that on some level I can look at both of those as mentors. I know it's kind of crazy because you think mentor is somebody that you can talk to and call and pick up the phone and ask a question really quickly. But with Gary Vee, he has so much content out there. Any question I have, I can find. So why would I need to pick up the phone? It's there available for me. So that, in my opinion, classifies as a mentor. And Oprah, she gives so much of herself, in my opinion. I think that she just has a wealth of knowledge that is also somebody that I would like to meet. But that does it for this episode. And that's great that question was last, because that's kind of how I end the episodes anyway. But I do appreciate everyone for tuning in each week. I really appreciate it. I don't know what else to say. I mean, I'm shocked at the subscribers that I have, although it may appear to be low. Honestly, it could be 2 and I'll still be doing the same thing. I'm just going to keep pushing along and being consistent. The consistency is a key. But I wanted to use this particular episode 12, to kind of just answer some questions, some things that may be on your mind, some things you may not see this and you don't care. But for those who actually took the time to listen and watch, this is just kind of behind the scenes of what's going on. And I'm looking to, get better and do bigger and better things. But again, I appreciate each one of you guys taking the time out of your day to sit down and watch and consume and listen. And I hope that I'm bringing you so much value. And if I am, please let me know. If I'm not, let me know as well. I'm always looking to get better, and I want to bring as much value. So with that, I will leave. Again, all of my social platforms are all the same, at ProcessTheMel, MEL. If you do want to email me, you can always email me at melvin.johnson@assuredpartners.com. So that's melvin.johnson@assuredpartners.com. And get a hold of me. Again, all I ask for, if you are looking to help, is just comments and just share as much as you can. If this was valuable to you, please share it. But that's pretty much it. That's all I got. I appreciate you, and come back next week. We got a new guest.